say at the
for it.
top end, though, that look, in my experience, Donald Trump was always joking until he wasn't.
Right.
And staff always cover for him and say his most outlandish proposals are just jokes, when in reality, for Donald Trump, they are trial balloons.
Yes.
And if he gets a bad reaction, then it's a joke and he delays the actual action. If he doesn't get too bad of a reaction, the joke becomes the reality and he does it very, very rapidly. That's what he does. And let me give you an example, because I put a few of these together the other month, and I needed to make this so clear to folks, because once again, people were saying that Donald Trump was joking about designating the political opposition as terrorists, and he wasn't. And he instituted what's called NSPM 7 to start designating people as domestic terrorists based on ideology. We've now seen that already become a part of the national discourse, but it started as a joke. And here are the few of the ones that I wrote down, Brian. I wrote to our followers at defiance.org. Remember when Donald Trump joked about locking up his political opponents? Well, he came into office, and it's very clear that wasn't a joke anymore. In fact, at the time, Kellyanne Conway said, no, he doesn't wish to pursue charges. He's just joking. Well, she was proven wrong. Remember when Donald Trump joked that he wanted to buy Greenland or swap it with Puerto Rico? In fact, at the time, people called it an April Fool's joke. Now here we are. We're literally talking about France and Germany and Sweden sending troops to Greenland to defend it against a possible invasion. Doesn't look like a joke anymore. Donald Trump also, quote, joked that the FCC should look into comedians who were making fun of him. In 2019, he said this, and staff said, well, that's just a joke. He doesn't really mean it. Well, he comes back into office and threatens to do exactly that. Has Jimmy Kimmel and Stephen Colbert and others looked into and has threatened those networks. You could go on and on. Trump joked during the pandemic about slowing down testing. It was a joke until he said that he really didn't kid and he wanted to slow down testing. He joked about not accepting the election results in 2020. And then, of course, we saw that he was serious when he prevented the peaceful transfer of power. He joked, Brian, about sending the military into U.S. cities, and staff said that was absolutely not true. That was the quote. He wasn't going to do it. Now look what's happened in the second term. It's been all about deployments of troops and U.S. forces into American cities. And he's joked very recently and in the past about remaining in the presidency beyond his term and a third term. And I will tell you, consistent with these jokes about canceling elections, this is not a joke. I remember him praising Xi Jinping in China and saying he's now president for life. Maybe we'll have to give that a shot someday. And Trump's allies, they're all in on the joke. They continue to say Trump 2028. I guess it's up to us whether we decide to be fooled by that.